Let's bring you some other news then on the programme. The United Kingdom is on course for its 7th Prime Minister in a decade. Keir Starmer today has announced that he is resigning just 2 years after he came to power on the back of a landslide election victory. It didn't take long, though, for his relationship with the country to sour, Keir Starmer becoming one of the most unpopular prime ministers of recent decades. And then the return to Parliament of one of his rivals, Andy Burnham, in a by-election last week appears to have sealed Starmer's political fate. Well, let's start then by listening to Starmer himself outside of Downing Street this morning.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Well, with me here on the programme is Philip Turle, our foreign editor, to talk a little bit about Keir Starmer's resignation and what comes next. Philip, Andy Burnham then is the heir apparent. He's been sworn in now as the new MP for Makerfield. Was it only a matter of time until Keir Starmer resigned after that big win by Burnham in the election?
I think that is what most political commentators are saying right now. The only problem that there could have been, if that's the right word to use, was Keir Starmer going to leave peacefully, or was he going to go out with a fight and try to keep hold of his job as Prime Minister and leader of the Labour Party? Well, now that has all been put into place. Keir Starmer has resigned today, so that opens the door to Andy Burnham becoming the next Prime Minister. If there is a leadership challenge from Andy Burnham, he made it pretty clear that's what he's going to do. The good news for Andy Burnham today is that Wes Streeting, the former Health Secretary, who was also seen as someone who could launch a leadership bid to try to become head of the Labour Party and therefore Prime Minister, would also do that, but he's now said that he's going to throw his weight behind Andy Burnham. So it looks like Andy Burnham could be the only candidate. Now, this is all going to happen from the 9th of July onwards. So as there's going to be no real leadership challenge, which then would have taken place in September, we may be looking at the fact that there could be a new leader of the Labour Party and therefore a new Prime Minister sometime towards the second half of July. Just a reminder that in British politics, it's the party that wins the majority that takes power, and it's the head of that party that becomes Prime Minister. The Labour Party won the 2024 elections in the UK by obtaining 411 of the 650 parliamentary seats, which was an astounding majority for them. They don't have to hold a general election until 2029. So even if Andy Burnham were to take over as Prime Minister, the Labour Party would still be in power in the United Kingdom.
Give us your thoughts then on Nigel Farage, his Reform Party, this right-wing anti-immigrant party in the UK. They lost that election against Andy Burnham in Makerfield in the by-election, but nationally they've been doing really well.
Yeah, 45% to 35%. It was a real knockdown for Nigel Farage's Reform Party. He's been doing very well around the country. He did extremely well in the recent local elections in May in the UK. And if you look at the opinion polls at the moment, a poll for Politico just released last week said Reform, if there was an election today, would get 25% of the vote compared to 18 for Labour and Conservative tied equally. So there's no suspicion about the fact that if there was an election tomorrow in the UK, Reform will win and Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister. Of course, that's something that's not going to happen anytime soon, even though Nigel Farage has said, well, instead of just changing leadership within the Labour Party, why don't we hold a general election now? Of course, that's something that the Labour Party is not going to do, because they know that if there was a general election, they would lose it, they would do very badly, and Reform would take over. And the Conservative Party of Kemi Badenoch, who is the leader of the Conservatives, she has also been calling calling for a general election, but that's something that doesn't look as though it's going to happen anytime soon. What is interesting now is to try to work out what Andy Burnham is going to do. He's going to take over from Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, very unpopular amongst voters in the UK. They feel that he's let the side down. He's not accomplished what he said he was going to do when he became Prime Minister in 2024. Only 18% of British people think that he's done a good job. 74% think that he's done a bad job. So I think it's no surprise it's curtains for Keir Starmer. We'll have to wait to see what Andy Burnham, if Andy Burnham is the next person, and I put this in inverted commas, if Andy Burnham is the next person to become Prime Minister in the UK, or what his policies are going to be and how he's going to join together the Labour Party between the left, the centre and the right, him being traditionally seen as being on the centre-left of the Labour Party, but has also got some leanings towards the right. So we'll see how Andy Burnham does if and when he becomes Prime Minister. The date to hold in your mind is July the 9th.